In Albuquerque, New Mexico, Old Town is a beloved time capsule showcasing culture, cuisine, and cars. The plaza is where car enthusiasts come to display their four-wheeled works of art, one of which is in a lane of its own. Jesse Littlebird is a local artist from Laguna and Kewa Pueblos who has ventured from film into painting and now is bringing his talent onto a whole new canvas. His art car is titled Petroglyph, which he calls a rolling piece of pottery.
When creating the car, I had the utmost respect and honor for lowrider culture in that I'm not denying the influence of it, but I'm also not asserting that it is a lowrider because it's really not a lowrider. It's in its own little category. This, I would just say, this is like my first car, and it's pretty cool to have it be pretty well received, but also at the same time, like, I'm not asserting or saying that this is like a masterpiece. I've never once said any of my art is a masterpiece publicly. It's fun, I don't think it should be so serious all the time. Sometimes we just, we like making pretty things, and people like, I remember this pretty thing, and you're, because I see that. I've seen my things that my uncles and aunties made. Like I said, my grandma and grandpa on both sides of my mom and dad's side, they grew up in a generation where art wasn't really seen as a viable thing to put your time into. They're from a generation that's a lot more hardened, and a lot more like, they grew up during like an industrial revolution, Whereas like now, native arts is kind of like, it can be seen as a viable form of income. It's its own little economy. The saying goes, a lot of people have walked so I could run, and I really am appreciative of that, and I acknowledge that every single day that I make anything.
From pop-up events to Santa Fe Indian Market, younger generations of Native artists are reaching new levels of recognition in modern art spaces. Littlebird is making his own name as locals have been admiring this rare auto art flowing with that rich adobe color and familiar Pueblo designs. The car is a representation of applying contemporary pottery painting techniques on a three-dimensional medium. While the car is making waves around the state, its message and interpretations go beyond the land of enchantment.
It's a 1973 Dodge Dart that is a Mopar powered from Detroit. And at one point in time, Detroit was the richest city in the world. I even think about it talking about like that. With a lot of classic American cars, you have to think about like, all right, this is like an ode to an era of America as an empire. A lot of these like classic American muscle cars from that time period kind of represent that. When I decided to paint a car, I was really trying to figure out where I fit within that spectrum. A lot of car culture and lowrider culture is kind of based on like socioeconomic things. I always looked at this crossover with Chicano culture and Native culture. I have many different friends that are, we're all mixed blood people, not one thing, especially here in New Mexico. And I think that a car can kind of cross a lot of those borders and bring things together. And I had like a great response to that. That's what really makes it worth it to me, is seeing wide spectrum of people that are excited about it and get it like instantly. That's what the purpose of it is to like have not me talk about it, but what is the response to it? What is the discussion around it? What is the ideas behind it?
Paris Wise, ICT News.